Hollywood is corrupted from head to toe,
That,
and
yeah, seems very obvious.
but it's not just casting couch crap. This is not just pervs who want to bang some 17-year-old. This is seriously corrupted, and you end up finding out that Nickelodeon, that all those kids were getting abused on Nickelodeon. You end up finding out that there's pedophiles who work for Nickelodeon who then get hired by Disney. Disney has got darkness in its closets. The corporation has darkness in its closets. And it actually started, I remember thinking about the fact that Walt Disney was able to buy up all this fucking land in Florida. And once you're trying to buy up land, people know it. You're not going to be able to buy it, right? I mean, you really got to do it on the side. And you find out that Walt had shell companies that were funded and run by the CIA to help them buy up the land, and who knows how many people got whacked. And I knew there had to have been some serious dealings for Walt to get Disney World set up. But Walt turns out to be a Freemason, and I never know what to do with the Freemasons. But Walt supposedly was a complete perv himself. And so maybe that, Disney from the get-go was founded upon compromise people. And I do believe that, there are whole divisions, I think, within the CIA who were funded to help Hollywood make movies that they want to have made. Now, the image is, okay, Top Gun and, things like that. But I think it's way darker than that. And by the way, you can see China's influence in movies too. China has the same sort of thing in US-based movies. And so you will see movies where China is treated very favorably. And there's no question that China influenced that plot. But I also think that Hollywood's, one of their charges is to fictionalize reality, I call it. Take all the things that we think might be true, and there will be a movie about that topic. Eyes Wide Shut, Born Identity. You can go through a whole list of them. And I think it's so that we anchor our thinking on fiction. So that you find out you think MK Ultra, and you go, oh yeah, that's just Matt Damon, Born Identity. It's like, no. It's Jolly West working out of Harvard doing weird shit with students and turning their brains into jello. It's not just Born Identity, right?
Yeah, it's like a combination of predictive programming, like limited hangout, and like if you believe in like the Satanist, like Luciferian tilt to it, like they have to be overt with their messaging and sort of rub it in your face.
One of the things, again, this Dr. Zoom group, we had a guy who's kind of an expert on messaging, and he said, look, you can't just go through the front door. You can't take some virgin pair of ears and brain and start talking about Baphomet and Moloch and these guys. It'll just shut them down immediately. And so you kind of have to wade them into the shallow end of the pool. And what looks very unproductive to me is to go back deep into the Freemasons, go back into Satanism, but you can focus a little bit on Satanism in the present, where it is visible in the present. So Marina Abramovic, there's a great example where here's this overt Satanist who has dinner parties feeding people cadavers, being written up in the Atlantic Monthly, right? and you're sitting going, oh, and you see these pictures of her at her dinner parties. There's literally these cadaver meals, and you can't help but wonder, okay, it's said to be food made look like cadavers. First of all, who would eat that shit, right? Who in their right mind would go to that dinner party? Who would be caught dead in there? And the answer is Hollywood.
And some people in DC, as the emails.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So then you're thinking, okay, so she's an overt Satanist. She's got the goat's head pictures. I mean, there's pictures of her with the Clintons, right? There's just, and you go, okay, I'm too deep on this. This is crazy. And then you find out above the fold ABC News that Zelensky appoints her in charge of all the schools in Ukraine. He just put a Satanist in charge of all the schools. Someone explain that to me.
Yeah.
And you find out that, the woman who was twice jailed in Haiti for child trafficking, who twice got bailed out by the Clinton Foundation, now works for Amber Alert. You want to find pedos? You just look at any major organization that's in charge of supposedly combating it. That's where you'll find the pedos. None of those organizations are legit, probably. That's my hunch. There's certainly, if you look at their board of directors and stuff, you go, oh boy, that doesn't look right. And some Hollywood elites, I track some of things that they've put on Twitter off to Russian trafficking sites and stuff. You can make those connections.
Yeah.
And then the question is this ruling the world? Is this running the world? Vigano, Archbishop Vigano says yes. And now they've excommunicated him, supposedly.
They did, like last month, I believe.
I know.
Talking to the outsider.
Got a little awkward there.
You had that scandal with Instagram where they were overtly enabling people to use coded messages to facilitate trafficking. Who knows if that Wayfair thing from a few years ago was actually...
That was so odd. And by the way, the CEO of Wayfair was in charge of various child organizations. He was prominent in the Orphans for Whatever. So it fit the pattern.
Hey, do you still have your Bitcoin on an exchange? Don't hold your Bitcoin on an exchange. Take it into self-custody. If you're looking for an easy way to do that, we have the BitKey. BitKey is Bitcoin made easy to use and hard to lose. Take the first step. Get your Bitcoin off the exchange. Check out the link in the show notes. That'll get you 20% off your BitKey, or use the code TFTC20 at checkout.